Hello everyone, welcome back to Kirklees Guitar School. So today we're going to have a look at the mighty Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. It's an absolute acoustic guitar classic. So accompanying this lesson there's a full tab and chord chart that you can follow, and then we've got I've put all the chords on a nice little diagram for you as well. You can download this for free from the Kirklees Guitar School Facebook group. If you head to the first link in the description, join the Facebook group, head to the Files tab, and you'll see this along with every other tab I've ever done that accompanies every other lesson. It's a bit of a fruity one, is this, so I think it'd be a really good idea for you to be following along with a pencil and actually have it in front of you while I'm doing it on screen as well. Okay? Right, so we are going to do the bit first that everybody wants to learn, so don't freak out. There's a lot here. We are going to break it down, but it's the bit that everybody knows, and then we're also going to talk about the verse as well, which is the Now those two sections make up the entire song, and it just ping pongs from one to the other, and the chart that I've written out for you puts it all in the correct format and the correct order for you to do it with. I've gone off the album version, okay? Right, so when we play guitar like this, you're almost trying to do two parts at the same time. You try to do that little bass part, the sort of little, and then you've got a bit of strumming. And it sort of ping-pongs between doing a little bit of bass work, a little bit of strumming, a little bit of bass work, a little bit of strumming. Now, the slides that I'm going to put on screen, take them literally one note at a time. Really take your time. And if you just do the first couple of bars, and you need to have a break from it and come back to it tomorrow, that's completely cool. Rome wasn't built in a day. Just do a little bit at a time for me, okay? So, getting into it, we've got our first bit. Now, notice how in the first bar, a repeat marker starts after the first bar. That's because we need to play that little lick just before it all kind of gets going. So what I'm going to do, with my middle finger, I'm going to play the 3rd fret of the low E string, which is a G. I'm then going to play the open A string and hammer onto that B note, which is the 2nd fret. You see how I'm not picking it a second time? And then I'm going to play the open D. Moving into the next bar, I'm going to hit this E note, which is on the 2nd fret of the D string, and that completes the phrase. That'd be a really good place to start. Get that under your fingers first. Then we're going to go to E minor 7. Now E minor 7 looks like a regular E minor, but we put these two fellas down here. Now included in the PDF. For this first bit, these are the 3 chords that we're going to play. So can you see how it's like E minor 7 and G? G's got an extra note than what you're probably used to, but this is how they're doing it on the record. But all 3 of these chords have in common that we're playing the ring finger and the pinky are on the 3rd frets of the B and the high E. So E minor looks just like a regular E minor, but we've got those 2 additional notes on the bottom, and the same applies for G. And then A7 sus4. That's its Sunday name. We just think of it as a floaty A7. It sounds lovely. Think of that as an E minor 7. But you're just taking your first 2 fingers, your index and your middle finger, down a string. So if that's your E minor, take these 2 fellas and just move them down like that. So you've got E minor 7, G, and A7 suspended 4th. Pause the video, get those under your fingers, because we're going to be using those a lot. So going back to this, you've got the lick. Now what I tend to do is I'd have these 2 fingers planted all the time, and it just saves you a job, okay? Even when we're doing the beginning bit, I'd put these 2 fingers here ready for the next 2 chords in the phrase, okay? So we've done this so far. And then as I go to press that 2nd fret of the D string, I'm going to actually put both fingers down for that E minor 7. Even though I'm not using this fella just yet, I'm then primed and in position to do my strumming, which is down, down, up, up, down. It's very similar to the strumming pattern that I use all the time, the down, down, up, up, down. It's just a little bit quicker. I know we're missing 2 notes off the end of that bar, but just get that under your fingers to start with. The more time you spend here on this strumming pattern here, the easier the remainder of this section is going to be. And then while keeping these 2 fingers still planted, I'm gonna let go with the index and the middle finger, and then I'm gonna play the open G and the open D. Now you'll probably say, James, that fits into the chord shape. You don't actually need to let go. Now mentally, I'm getting ready for G because my next note's that 3rd fret. In that 3rd bar, it's the 3rd fret of the low E string. I need to be ready for that G. So you'll see me go. It didn't work too well because I've really slowed it down. But I like to sort of mobilise these 2 fingers. That's up to you. That's sort of a finer detail. As we move into the 3rd bar, I've got my G ready. I'm going to pick that 3rd fret of the low E string with a downstroke. And then I'm going to go down, down, up, up. Start from the beginning. And then, can you see at the end? It's just the same lick again. And his next chord in his next slide is going to be E minor again. So pause the video if you need to, or if we're feeling okay, we'll go to the next bit. So this E minor and this G and this E minor again are just the same things again. It's just the same things that we've done. So we've just come from into the 1st bar, down, down, up, up, down, G, down, down, up, up. Now I've just got all the way over here. Now can you see how this melody changes a little bit? Now it changes because we're going to go to the A chord in the next slide. So after you've played the E minor at the end of this slide, as normal, you're then going to play 2nd fret of the D, sorry G, 2nd fret of the G, open, G, and then 2nd fret of the D again. And can you hear how it's moving in a different direction rather than it going? It sort of goes, and you can move down. The strumming pattern changes on the A, which we'll get to a second. Let me play that 2nd bar for you, because I don't feel like I demonstrated that very well then. Right then, next slide. For the A slides, as I said before, you take that, if we just have a quick butchers over there, that A7 sus4 is just like the E minor 7, but you move the first two fingers down a string. So I'm already in position. I'm going to pick the first 2 notes. So that's on the A string and the 2nd fret of the D string, which I'm already accounted for over here. I'm then going to do a quick down and an up, followed by another downstroke, followed by another down and an up. Notice how we've got at the end of the bar. I don't want you to get to that yet. Let's get the first sort of 60% of this bar done. Bass notes, down, up, single bass note on that open A string, and then another downstroke. It's bum bum ba da ba ba ba. It's one of those, the quicker that you play it, the better it will sound. Moving on, we go back to that's just the same as we've done before, and then bar 1 and bar 3 are exactly the same. Now, being really picky at the end of this slide, can you see how there's two open D notes, isn't there? I don't know whether they put that in intentionally, but it's on the record, so we're going to cover it. If we're doing it, we're going to do it properly. And that's just, it occupies the same amount of space, but you're just going to do a quick down and an up, and this is all the way over here on these zeros down here. Let me play that full slide for you. You know, I picked this dude twice. And then to round it off. Now, this bit's really interesting because if I just zoom out for a second, we are going to come back to this slide. The intro and the outro for the song basically have this riff, and it does it twice. It features in the middle of the song again, but it'll only do it the once. Now, can you see that funny looking bracket after the first bar? And then you can see more or less an identical one but facing the other way just before the last bar of this slide. Those are called repeat markers. So what that means is you're going to play that first lick to get you going, and then you're straight into E minor 7 in bar 2. And you're just going to carry on your merry way all the way through until you hit the next repeat marker just before the last bar. You then go back up to that E minor 7 at the top of the page and go on your merry way a second time. But on your second time, I want you to finish with, can you see at the bottom of the slide, there's 2 bars of G under a bracket with a 1 underneath it, and then there's the very last bar of the slide has a 2 and like a line underneath it. Now that's called an alternate ending. So what that means is in the first repeat, you just play straight between those 2 repeat markers. But on the second time, I want you to skip bar 10 and 11, which is the first 2 bars of the bottom line, and replace it with just a single bar of G. So you've played it on the first time round. You're going to go. It's just basically a bar longer. That's all it is. If you want me to do a lesson on alternate endings, let me know. Let me know in the comments. And all we're going to do here is we're going to fret that G chord and we're going to do little big strumming. Now, what's little big strumming? For the first beat of each of these phrases, I'm going to do a downstroke, but I'm only going to catch the lower parts of this. Following that, I'm going to do that with a downstroke, by the way. Following that, I'm going to do a quick down, down, up after it. Down, down, down. And I'm basically going to repeat that twice for the whole bar. Bar 2. Now notice how we always put that in if we're going back to the E minor. Now this doesn't happen in the second time round because we're going to go to a C chord next, and that wouldn't. It doesn't really fit. You're sort of working up to that E, G, E, etc. G, A. So you've got G. So that's the first time round, and on the second time round you just essentially do bar 1. And that's where a C chord comes in for that next section. Now his verse is nothing to write home about. It's still really good and still a really valuable part of the song, but it's nowhere near as ornate as the intro. So mop your brow, it's cool, we got there, you survived. So for this we're going to do just as we did with the G chord previously. We're going to do down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Actually, those semiquavers are display start this. So I'll play that C chord. So it's like down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. The bars in this song are really long. Those are the chords those are the additional chords that we're putting in. Now, there is a G chord in there. You can opt to keep that G chord like we've been playing with the extra finger, you know, with these 2 fellas, or you could just play a regular G chord. I kind of chop and change between. I don't get too wrapped up in that stuff. So you've got C, down, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, down, A minor. etc. Now that's going to repeat twice. So looking at the form for the song, like I say, it'd be a really good idea if you downloaded this and printed it out if you're able to. So you're going to do the intro twice with repeat markers. You're going to do verse 1, 2 twice, repeat markers. It then goes into the and it just does it the once, followed by a single verse, followed by the A section twice again. So it's what we call a binary form. A, B, A, B. A section, B section, that is. I can't stress to you enough how powerful this is. Yeah? I want you to download these and I want you to be scribbling on them with a pencil and making your own annotations, because that's how you learn. Putting pen to paper is a really good idea with this kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching today's lesson. If you've got a recommendation of something you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week for another guitar lesson. Thank you so much.